Monique, welcome to part two of the empathy guessing game. I really enjoyed our conversation 2 weeks ago.
Thank you, Valdo. Even though I'm a big fan of empathy guessing, it was amazing to me in a role play how powerful it is. And for those of you listening, I hope that you really notice the patterns we're using and how powerful it can be to use this tool. So, Valdo, we gave our listeners some homework. What was it?
Your homework before video two is to review this video and look for the vignettes that Monique and I have intentionally left throughout the video. For the ones of you just joining us, I highly recommend you watch video part one, in which Monique and I had a role play. And we had also a number of vignettes through the video that we are going to review right now. Monique, how about we jump into the first empathy guess of the role play?
Sounds great.
Are you frustrated because you have a need for clarity?
What I love about this role play, Valdo, is by starting with the empathy guessing game, you invited me and led us to slow down and do the iterative process of checking in on how I was feeling.
Wonderful. So my first guess was just a guess, and looks like I got some credit for trying, and that it created the opportunity for me to make another guess. My second guess was, are you also feeling sad because you do not have with her the connection you would love to have?
What was helpful for me here is that you asked me, was it frustration or sadness, which let me check in and realize it was less about frustration and more about sadness, which gave me clarity.
That created the opportunity for my third guess, which, by the way, was more of a checking in with you, paraphrasing, restating, than a fresh guess. So it's a combination of frustration and sadness because of the lack of clarity and also the desire you have for connection.
Yes, and what I love about this one is for those of you listening, the need for connection, for family, for community is so strong in humans. So, can you just take a moment to connect with your own need for connection? That's such a valuable tool when you're doing empathy guessing.
I picked on Monique's need for connection and family and community, and that led me to my fourth guess. Are you feeling that sadness because you have that need for connection, that need for family, that need for community deep inside of you?
Your fourth guess was amazing because I realized I could really feel my body resonant. It is a need for acceptance. And that brought me to such a powerful place in connecting with myself because of your excellent empathy guessing.
So I felt that I had made a very close guess with my fourth guess, and that I needed to anchor a little bit deeper within Monique. Please watch that fifth guess with me and let me know what you notice. Are you feeling frustrated and mainly sad because your deep value of acceptance is not met with my mother?
What I loved about your invitation to notice, to anchor, is that dropped into a deeper experience of the empathy guess.
So, do you know what I did differently that made that possible?
Yeah, you by slowing down and inviting me to anchor by really making sure you got it, you invited me to feel it, and then you saw the honesty of my experience. Right? It was so powerful me to feel that I feel understood resonate in my body. It's quite an experience.
So, that is wonderful. And what helped you feel understood is I basically grounded my question was that your need was unmet with my mother.
Yes, because even as a role play, you invited me to tap into a parallel experience because the humanity of our needs goes across all types of places in our lives. So this really was powerful for me.
Wonderful. So, listeners, it was indeed a role play because Monique and I are not married in real life. We are not a couple. And very interestingly, the series of empathy guesses touched something deep inside of you. And so I would love to show you the acceptance in our role play of Monique of my empathy guesses.
I think that's it, actually, now that we've talked this through. Like the frustration comes from my confusion, the sadness comes from I just want to be accepted. Yeah, that's feeling very true for me today. Thanks for talking it through with me.
As a recap for this role play and my 5 empathy guesses, I slowed things down. I made myself fully present to listening to Monique and her feelings and her needs. I slowed down even more when I introduced the juxtaposition of 2 different feelings that she somehow had to sort and see which one was more important. I followed somewhat loosely the are you feeling this because you need that? Because a number of my guesses, I was introducing 2 feelings and 2 needs. And then at the end, I waited for a sense of peace, a sense of, yeah, that's it in Monique.
And I noticed the whole time you really were watching me. So, watching your partner is such a powerful part of empathy guessing.
Throughout the video, Monique and I also interspersed 5 empathy guesses. And the first one is at minute 0:43. Again, the link to the video is up there should you want to watch it again.
Yeah, are you feeling upbeat because it meets your need for contribution? So in this, I noticed that Valdo seemed upbeat, and so I made an empathy guess. And I love to have you as a listener catch when your partner goes up in emotions and down, because it's really great as you're empathy guessing to catch him feeling great too.
What I also noticed, Monique, is that it was very natural in the flow. It was not trying to get something, out of me like in the role play we did. It was just you acknowledging what was happening in me.
Yes, it doesn't have to go through the iterative process.
So, second vignette at 1 minute 43 is very interesting. Do you notice that Monique is doing an empathy guess on herself?
Hold on. I am feeling apprehensive as I need ease.
What was wonderful about Monique's self-empathy guess, actually we call that honest expression in NVC, is that she shared with me what was going on for her in a way that was very easy for me to hear. Thank you, Monique.
Yes, I got in the habit of honest expression. That first one was negative, and then I offered the second one, which was positive, and that helps let my partner know where I am in our experience. Oh, fantastic. Now I'm feeling curious because I need that support for my learning.
What was great about this self expression from Monique is she shared with me how excited she was in a context that was somehow scary, learning a new tool, learning a new skill, and that was front loaded to be very difficult to learn. In these first 3 vignettes, the empathy guesses or self expression was to bring more aliveness. We are now moving towards the last 2 empathy guesses, and they are in a very different context. We are doing Q&A, and this is Monique and I being teachers right now.
Are you feeling concerned because you have a need for clarity? So in this one, of course, we're doing a Q&A. If your partner's asking a lot of questions, it's a great time for an empathy guess because they might also be concerned and have a need for clarity.
So by this empathy guess, Monique showed understanding and she showed care as a teacher for the students that she's teaching. In the last vignette, Monique beautifully showed a third person's perspective of an empathy guess.
My empathy guess would be that This question comes from concern because somebody values competence. So, when any time we do an empathy guess, we're putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes. It's the shared humanity of needs that allows you to guess. So, just try, make a guess, and see how it lands.
That was the perfect segue into part 3 that we will be recording in 2 weeks. If this video inspired you to develop more emotional intelligence and better empathy guessing skills, please hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified when we publish new juicy content. We look forward to seeing you very soon.